Biomedric's Optimum Woman is the only woman's high-potency full-spectrum multiple vitamin supplement to contain 56 nutrients, including those most important for today's woman, such as calcium for bone health, iron for healthy red blood cells, beta-carotene, biotin for nail and hair health, gamma-linoleic acid from evening primrose oil, octasanol, grapeseed extract, a potent antioxidant important for maintaining capillary strength, and vegetarian digestive enzymes. Visit www.biomedrxsupplements.com.
Gold label quality Biomed RX CBD oil is made from organic hemp that is locally grown, glyphosate-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, homogenized, third-party tested, and CO2 extracted. Visit www.biomedrxcbd.com.
Hi, this is Devin Lockett, the president of JobSite Route. As the son of a general contractor, I know how difficult it can be to get good food on the job site. And letting your construction workers leave the job site to buy lunch just takes valuable time away from them being on the site. I've developed an app and a program that will bring a steady stream of food trucks to your job sites every month for the low price of only $100 per month per site. That comes up to about $3 per day to have a steady stream of food trucks coming to your job sites all day, every working day. You can also contact the food trucks ahead of time and pre-order your food from the menu on our app. This saves valuable time for your construction workers and for you. It also sends a variety of delicious food served on Southern California food trucks to your job sites all day. When you think about it, it only makes sense to join the JobSite Route Network.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Calm down. Calm down. Relax. All right. So today, Today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to do a little bit of neurofeedback for you guys. EEG biofeedback. It's been a minute since I've had a chance to sit down and do some neurofeedback on my own head, and I always love doing it. If you guys recall, I started the Biomed RX Health Center with neurofeedback. Neurofeedback was actually the first therapy that I started doing at the Biomedrix Health Center. I opened the Biomedrix Health Center in response to my son being diagnosed on the autism spectrum when he was 2 years old, and it's been an ordeal. It's been a struggle, but I have found that neurofeedback, or EEG biofeedback, has been the most effective therapy in relieving my son of the symptoms, at least the cognitive symptoms associated with what we call autism, right? And I'm going to say what we call autism because when I was a kid, there were a lot of kids that would be considered on the spectrum. Perhaps me. I would get report cards of stating that I would spend a lot of time staring out the window. I just think I was too intelligent for the school that I was in, and I wasn't challenged intellectually. And, that's neither here nor there at this point. But neurofeedback is also EEG biofeedback, electroencephalogram. This is an electroencephalographic amplifier. It's called the NeuroAmp 2. You can see it on the right, NeuroAmp 2. Okay, and I'm going to take this NeuroAmp 2. It's got 2 channels on it, and I'm going to train my brain. Now, when we do neurofeedback therapy, of course, I am a certified neurofeedback clinician. When we do neurofeedback therapy, we have 3 basic modalities. There are many modalities, but I kind of stick to 3 basic modalities. Infra-low neurofeedback, alpha-theta neurofeedback, and synchrony neurofeedback. We're going to take them one step at a time. When someone first comes to me with a severely dysregulated neocortex, now what does that mean? The outside of the brain, the part that looks all wrinkly, right? That's called the neocortex. That was the latest part of the brain to develop. So it's the neocortex, right? The neocortex, over time, can accumulate dysregulation. Dysregulation would be akin to spasms or knots or kinks. Basically, people really do work on your nerves. Okay, yeah. The brain is composed of neurons. Neurons are another name for nerves. Your entire nervous system is comprised of neurons. And when you have intense emotion, arguments, fights, stress, shock, these little kinks can form in your brain. I guess you can call them kinks. And it comprises dysregulation of the neocortex. The overaccumulation of dysregulation in the neocortex is what we know as PTSD, or it comprises of the cognitive effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, the PTSD that is accumulated during normal life, the life that we live as civilians, go on and do the good stuff, is usually near the parietal lobe. Okay, sometimes in the temporal lobes, but normally in the parietal lobe. It has to do with space and feeling yourself, feeling your presence in space-time. But those of us who have been in combat and have experienced periods of what we would call hypervigilance tend to establish dysregulatory patterns in the frontal lobe as well. Now, the brain is comprised of lobes, right? You've got your frontal lobe, You've got your temporal lobes right here over the ears. You've got your parietal lobe, and you've got your occipital lobe right here below that. And then beneath the occipital lobe is the cerebellum. Each one of these lobes of the brain have an effect on different aspects of behavior and thinking and cognitive function, personality traits, and so forth. It will take a long time for me to get into where affects what, right? Where on the brain affects what. But just understand that in the very beginning, when someone comes to me for neurofeedback therapy, I would start with trying to calm if a person has a lot of PTSD or a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, autism, ADD, ADHD. I would start by trying to calm the right hemisphere of the brain down in infra-low neurofeedback. So basically, I would do a T4, temporal lobe 4, to P4 connection here on the right-hand side, and just single channel, right? Let them watch a movie and do my best to get the right side of the brain calm. Once we do that, now you got to understand the different hemispheres of the brain function differently. The heart is primarily on the left side of the body. It's in the center, but on the left. And so the left hemisphere of the brain is larger and more pronounced on everyone than the right hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain, of course, takes on what we call left brain activity, and the right hemisphere of the brain does its part, taking on right brain activities. It's not as cut and dry as you think. Some jobs, I guess you could say, that you might do, some tasks that you may perform, may start off being processed on the left hemisphere and then may move to the right hemisphere, or vice versa. So it's not cut and dry. It's not a cut and dry science. But the left and the right hemispheres of the brain do take on different tasks as time goes on. Some people associate the right hemisphere of the brain with the subconscious and the left hemisphere with the conscious mind. We'll go into that more in future videos and future lives. Now, once we get past calming the brain, once we get past infra-low, which is excellent for autism, ADD, ADHD, mental retardation, anxiety, stress, depression, and a host of other conditions, we may move into more advanced neurofeedback training. And when we do that, we would include alpha theta. Well, with alpha theta, you can do that with 1 or 2 channels. And the goal of alpha theta is to train the brain simultaneously in the theta zone, which is around 7 hertz, and the alpha zone. Now, what are these zones? What are these frequency zones? When you talk about the brain, when the brain is operating, the brain has different frequency modes or different frequency zones within which it operates, and primarily, right? I mean, your brain is operating under many frequencies at the same time, all the time. But the primary frequency with which your brain is in sync with is going to determine where you are cognitively. For example, if you are in a delta state, delta is between 0 to around 5 hertz, hertz being cycles per second, then you're going to go to sleep. Delta is a state of deep sleep. If you are in the next higher stage, which would be theta, theta would be around 7 hertz, not an exact science, but around 7 hertz. Theta is very interesting. It's a very interesting frequency zone because theta is where the subconscious mind is. Theta is where you are when you are in REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. So theta is your primary frequency when you're dreaming. Theta is also the primary frequency for opening the subconscious mind. So alpha theta therapy is good in combination with hypnosis or hypnotic therapy techniques. Okay. Alpha theta is good for purging suppressed.
Even superheroes and supermodels need a daily dose of nutrients to help make life more super. Biomed RX Supplements is making it easy to get exactly what you need. From kids to seniors, they've got something for everyone. Pretty cool, right? Check out their products at biomedrxsupplements.com.
Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, so alpha theta is good for releasing repressed emotions and repressed thoughts, repressed memories. It's good for doing when you are in therapy. If you're in 12-step, for example, if you're going to AA or Narconon or any one of the 12-step programs, and or you are combining that with the combo platter of going to a talk therapist, then alpha theta is good for energetically stirring up your shit, basically. Energetically stirring up the repressed emotions. Now, once we get past that, once we get you stable and relaxed, once we get rid of a significant amount of neocortical dysregulation, once we are able to purge repressed emotions and actually program in positive messages into the subconscious using alpha theta, then we're ready to move on to what I call peak performance neurofeedback. And in peak performance neurofeedback, we are going to employ synchrony. Synchrony neurofeedback is using both channels of this neuroamp and training the left and right hemispheres of the brain to operate in synchrony with each other. Now, even using synchrony, you still have the question of where you're training, what part of the brain, what lobes of the brain you're training, and you also have the question of what frequencies you're going to be training. Well, the lobes for today's session are going to be very simple because I'm training the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe. Okay, I'm establishing new neural pathways. I'm connecting my emotional self to my cognitive self, and I'm training both hemispheres of my brain to work together. Now, this is the kicker. At what frequency? Well, the software will only allow you to dial up to 40 hertz, and I do not recommend training at high frequencies until you have cleared all of the steps that I just talked about before, as far as getting rid of neocortical dysregulation, purging repressed emotions, dealing with your crap. Then you are ready. It's something that you have to experience in order to fully understand it. But then you would be ready to take on high frequency, what we call gamma frequency neurofeedback. Now, we talked about delta. Delta's frequency is between 0 to 5 hertz. Theta hovers around 7. Alpha, which is the next phase up, next frequency band up, is being awake and relaxed like I am right now. You want to be in an alpha zone, what we call the yummy frequency. Alpha is around 10 hertz, maybe 11 to 13. Beta, which is around 20 hertz. Beta is the level of neocortical arousal or brain excitement that you would experience if you were sitting down passively listening to a speech. For example, you should be in beta right now listening to this video, right? If you were trying to solve a math problem, if you were trying to think analytically, heuristically, if you're trying to calculate something, that would require you to be at about 25 hertz, which is high beta. So you have beta at 20 hertz, high beta at 25 hertz. And if you train at high beta for an hour or so, or a half hour, you can prepare yourself for taking an exam. It's very, very good. So enough talking. Okay, I'm gonna begin my session here. I want to give you guys a taste of what happens during a neurofeedback session. I want you to see my feedback and see the feedback from the amplifier. You're going to be able to see my brain waves, and you're also going to be able to see the screen that I'm looking at in order to do the training. So how do we do neurofeedback? Well, first we take some cotton, put a little alcohol on it, and we prepare our scalp for the probes, right? So I'm training the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is in charge of executive control and inhibitory control, right? Executive control and inhibitory control. In other words, telling you to do or not to do something, right? The parietal lobe is more associated with space, time, feeling your spatial presence in the world. Also a bit of emotion, your emotional health. It's just a really good place to train, okay? And sometimes I go frontal to occipital, frontal to parietal. And after you prep with alcohol, then we use a little bit of this new prep, which is a gel. It's an electrolyte exfoliating gel. In other words, it has little grainy bits in it, so you can feel it kind of scratching the skin when you're rubbing it on. And so it exposes you so that you get good contact. And it's electrolyte, which is the opposite of dielectric. Electrolyte gel is made to conduct. Electrolyte gel is what you would see in a pack with a defibrillator, right? You want the defibrillator to conduct electricity to the person's body. A defibrillator is an energy delivering biomedical device. Not to be confused with the dielectric gel, which is usually the same color, like some type of greenish color, that you might find at an ultrasound machine. For example, if a lady's having a baby and we want to see and hear the ultrasound, we're going to squirt a little gel on the ultrasound. That gel is the opposite of this gel. When I say opposite, what do I mean? Electrolyte gel is made to conduct electricity. Dielectric gel is made to be a barrier to electricity. Dielectric gel is like an insulator of electricity, and electrolyte gel is a conductor of electricity. They have the opposite purpose. They not only have different purposes, they have complete polar opposite purposes. So you do not want to mistake electrolyte gel for dielectric gel. You don't want to do that. Okay, so first you want to apply their paste, your electrode paste, to your probes. Now I have the probes color coordinated so I can see which probes are on channel 1 and which probes are on channel 2. You do not want to cross the middle of your brain. Well, you don't want to, put it this way. There are protocols within which you do cross the hemispheres of the brain, but this isn't one of them. And if you hook up your electrodes wrong, you'll end up vomiting, and it'll make you nauseous. You'll throw up. It's not a good experience. So we've got the plus side of channel 1 and channel 2 with red and blue respectively. Right? Oh, I usually apply a little bit of gel to the spot as well, because if you just put the gel on the paste, if you just put the paste on the probes, it may not stick to your skin. So you want to make sure once you've got your gel that you apply your paste right where you want to train. Okay? And this is something that I want the brothers to understand, right? I mean, this is technology that we're not barred from exploring. In fact, I highly recommend we work more people of all communities, more men especially, work on your dysregulation, work on your neocortical dysregulation. Your life will be 100% better, 200% better. It's because of neocortical dysregulation that people develop alcohol and drug habits, right? Because you're trying to reach the alpha state. And if you have a severely dysregulated neocortex, it's going to be kind of impossible because the circulation up there isn't what it should be. And it's going to be kind of impossible for you to obtain the alpha state. So you can easily
Gold label quality Biomed RX CBD oil is made from organic hemp that is locally grown, glyphosate free, gluten free, non-GMO, homogenized, third-party tested, and CO2 extracted. Visit www.biomedrxcbd.com.
All right. As you can see, I am now installing the probes. Thank you. Okay, so with the red is yellow and with the blue is green. So I'll put those in the back in their respective spots. Okay. Yeah, I have one broken probe here, one broken lead, one broken probe that I haven't taken off yet, but I'll take it off. I just replaced it right quick with another black one. The black is ground, okay? The black is the ground lead, and the ground lead, you see the ground lead goes right here in the center of my head, all right? I don't have my mirror. I normally have a mirror here when I'm working. Okay, now, here's where it gets kind of tricky, because I'm going to plug in my headphones, and I hope they work right the first time, because sometimes when you have all of this stuff hooked up to the computer, it may be kind of confused, make it kind of confused. So that's it. Let's see. Headphones, perfect. All right, so now we're going to switch to the display scene. There we go. And I'm going to begin the session. Now, a couple of times before when I made neurofeedback sessions, I got tagged by YouTube. Sorry about that. I got tagged by YouTube because of the music that was being used. So I'm going to start a session today that's in silent mode, and I hope that you can hear what's going on. Now, this display here in the middle is going to show you a graphical printout of my brainwaves. And yeah, let me turn the flames off right quick. It's going to show you a graphical display of my brainwaves. And on the screen right below me, you're going to see what I'm looking at, which is the training, right? You're on the bottom, very bottom two screens on the big screen here, you're going to see what's happening on the left and right hemispheres of my brain. And when you hear gongs, I'm not sure if you're going to hear the gongs, but when you hear boom, boom, like bells, that is the time when I am successfully training at 50 hertz. Now, it takes a long time to get your brain up to 50 hertz. You can't just hook up and do it. You're going to cause yourself a lot of stress and anxiety. So I guess best thing I can do is just show you at this point. So now we're going to begin our session. Okay. Okay, I don't want to get dinged for the music because it's showing a different live session than I expected. So we're gonna pause. We're gonna select feedback. Okay. And we're going to select none. Let's see if I can get a muted session going. Well, it seems as though we're going to be let's try it while it's still playing. Let's see if it'll let me do it while it's still playing. You can see my brainwaves, right? I'm trying to figure this out so they're all over the place, right? Come on. Well, no. You see, I don't want to get dinged for the music. And if you don't hear the music, then you won't hear the gongs. And if you do, I'm trying to get it on none, mute. There we go. See, I know that if I select any of these, that it's going to play music that that YouTube is going to ding me for. Let's see. All right, so they say O for options if I'm in a session. So let's start. Okay, so it goes to that, which I love this graphic, I really do. But then I select O. Now, there is no custom music, and you can see the graphics. But let me see. There we go. Now you heard the gong, right? Hopefully you can hear the gong. Okay, and it does sound kind of staticky, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this like this, and I'm going to take away this graphic, at least get it out of my way. And I'm just going to watch the graphic. Okay, now you're going to see the synchrony on the left, the synchrony, there you go, pop up when I go into sync. So let me open this up and watch it. And you're going to hear the number of gongs increase. The more I concentrate and focus, the more you hear the gongs. That means that my brain is training at 50 hertz at that moment in time. Now you notice when I'm synchronized, my brain waves seem to be a sea of blue. Now you're going to see orange spikes in different locations. That has to do with when I'm actually thinking about something, right? Like right now, see I'm talking, I'm blinking, and you can see the orange show up. These are good graphs as well. The red is my delta line. It's always higher. But you can see alpha, theta, delta, all nice and low. And every time you see a spike is when my brain is training, is when I'm synchronizing. You can see I got into a little fatigue there. Now you can hear the gongs. You're going to find that the more you see me doing this, the more frequently the gongs are going to come. Okay? It's just like shooting free throws. You got to get your arm back. You know, this is my first neurofeedback session in almost a year. So I'm glad that I had a chance to share it with you. It's a 20-minute session. I'm going to shut it down right here. And because I like to do my sessions first thing in the morning. So you're going to start seeing me fire up this sucker at about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what I'm going to do. And there we go. Let's get back to the desk. So yes, you're going to feel a little bit of fatigue, right? The first time you train, but you know, I feel great. I synchronize the left and right hemispheres of my brain, only for 20 minutes this time. I'm going to do an hour-long session in the morning, tomorrow, and every morning, actually. And I'm going to share it with you. See, this is how you pull them off, just like that, nice and easy, right? And then you get a rag or a towel or something, right? Get a little alcohol, right? Get a little rubbing alcohol. First, get the big chunks off. Right. Sometimes I scrape them off if I can find something scrape-worthy. And then you just rub off the alcohol, right? The gel is water soluble. I mean, the paste, the gel and the paste are both water soluble. So it doesn't take too much trouble getting it off. But you just got to get it off, right? You know. And of course, it helps to have a bald head, right? It helps to have a bald head. So I just wanted to give you guys an understanding of what serious peak performance training is. You're not only training your body, you're also training your brain, which includes the mind, right? You're also training your mind, training your body, and training your brain. Okay, so now, what is the ultimate objective? Well, the ultimate objective is optimal health of mind and body, right? Of the brain and the body. You want to get peak performance out of your brain, your cognitive abilities. You want to be able to work. You want to have stamina. You want to have be able to defeat fatigue. My head feels better already. It feels 100% better already. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's strange how that works, but yeah. So you want to be at your best. You want to have a sharp mind. You definitely want to have a strong physical body. I'm taking my bodybuilding, when you're young, bodybuilding is about ego. You want to have big muscles. You want to have a certain aesthetic. And sometimes people, when they're young, they tend to go to extremes to try to have the aesthetic that they want. And you can see my man Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman and I are the same age. Shout out to Ronnie Coleman, one of the best bodybuilders he was during his youth. And right now, my man's in a wheelchair, and he's had 4 or 5 back surgeries, and he's not really doing that well. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, he's not really doing that well. But you don't want your peak performance lifestyle to lead to a lifestyle where you can't perform at all. I mean, the man is really young, all right, 59, 60 years old. He's very, very young. If you spent your youth building up that musculature, you should want to hold on to your muscle mass as you get older, take advantage of that, and you should be a healthier man than the average man half your age if you've maintained a life of, yes, go ahead and do the good stuff. If you've maintained a lifestyle of robust, good health, okay, it's really sad. So how do we combat that? Well, I've also been a physique trainer all my life. I like muscles. I like working out. I like bodybuilding, right? But I had to take a break. I had to take a break of a year, a little bit more than a year, about a couple of years, so that I could use my inversion table and hang upside down with 20 pounds of traction hanging from my neck, from the cervical collar, to stretch my body out and to get rid of the compressed, compacted, and herniated discs that I had, the damage that I had done to my body through years of bodybuilding. Whenever you're lifting, right, especially overhead press and, all of these bodybuilding exercises, you tend to compress your spine. And so it's not the vertebrae themselves, it's the discs in between that get compressed. And that led to a number of problems, just like what Ronnie Coleman is experiencing, except I was only experiencing sciatica and other things. So I had to take a couple of steps back, and I had to stretch my spine out. I still do it right now every night before I go to bed. I get on my inversion table with my traction, and I breathe it out. Take long, deep breaths like a yoga stretch, and just continue to stretch until my back is fine. And then, as you can see, I've added swimming as a priority to my physical training. So now I'm not only building big muscles, I'm not only working the ego and doing the bodybuilding thing, I'm also swimming and taking care of my heart. Right? As we get older, right? You don't want to have a heart attack. You don't want to have high blood pressure. And if you're only concentrating on the aesthetics of bodybuilding, just having the big muscles to show off the big muscles, you could run the risk of hypertension if you don't take care of your blood pressure. Take Shilajit, right? Shilajit, I take Shilajit every day, right? Shilajit is good for controlling your blood pressure. Okay, I take a number of supplements. I'm not going to start flashing them all in front of the camera right now, but I highly recommend you take Shilajit. Take some red deer antler velvet, right? Comes extracted from the antlers of the red velvet deer antler extract. It contains IGF, insulin-like growth factor, which is known for helping autophagy, helping the body eat itself, helping the body eat its own fat for energy. And it also has properties similar to those of human growth hormone, right? So it's been an hour. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I'm not trying to keep you all afternoon. It is 2:00, and I'm going to be heading out to pick up my son from school in about an hour and a half. Shout out to my kids, by the way, Kai, Katie, and Yvonne. Love you guys. And shout out to the Biometrics team, Mika, Nicole, and Lindsay. Thank you, ladies, for your work. You are the heart and success of biometrics, and I really appreciate it. I want everyone, as always, to, well, before I say this, I'm going to say I'm going to be going live every morning now, and doing synchrony neurofeedback in the morning. Okay, I'm going to be doing my neurofeedback in the morning before working out, because if you work out and you exhaust yourself physically, you could cause yourself a lot of fatigue that would make you struggle through. You can see how I was kind of getting cross-eyed, struggling through my neurofeedback session. So the brain is always trained fresh first thing in the morning after sleeping, and immediately after that, and then, while you're digesting your supplements, and then immediately after that, get your ass in the gym and do your workout. So now, here we are. I want everyone to stay kind. Be kind. People need to remember to be kind. There's too much scumbaggery in the world. There's too much hate. There's too much division. There's too much anger. There's too much blame. There's too much conniving. There's too much relational aggression going on. Too much gossip, right? It's too much bullshit. So I want everyone to stay kind, because kind is not only the new sexy, kind is the only damn sexy. And I want everyone to stay blessed. I want everyone to stay healthy. I'm going to get back on live again, maybe tonight, probably tomorrow, definitely tomorrow morning. But I want you to stay kind, stay blessed, and stay healthy. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.
Gold label quality Biomed RX CBD oil is made from organic hemp that is locally grown, glyphosate free, gluten free, non-GMO, homogenized, third-party tested, and CO2 extracted. Visit www.biomedrxcbd.com.
Biometrics Optimum Woman is the only woman's high-potency full-spectrum multiple vitamin supplement to contain 56 nutrients, including those most important for today's woman, such as calcium for bone health, iron for healthy red blood cells, beta-carotene, biotin for nail and hair health, gamma-linoleic acid from evening primrose oil, octasanol, grapeseed extract, a potent antioxidant important for maintaining capillary strength, and vegetarian digestive enzymes. Visit www.biomedrxsupplements.com